far this season. So I think that that's something really to keep an eye on, is how deep she goes into this one.
Yeah, including one perfect game already this season for the sensational sophomore from Tampa, Florida. The starting lineup for South Alabama and Coach Clark, Mackenzie Brasher at the top, and a player that's got not good speed but elite speed. Gabby Stagner has really been swinging the bat well also for this South Alabama team, so they can produce some runs, and Brasher individually approaching the all-time Jaguars record. Ready to roll here in Fayetteville. Robin Heron gets us underway. And a swing and a miss by Mackenzie Brasher. Tatum Stolting will call balls and strikes. Kevin Wallace, the first base umpire, and Jermaine O'Gwen down at third. Veteran crew, very good crew, here to open us up for Arkansas's schedule of this Razorback Rumble. But already a very busy day here at Bogle Park, and we've already seen some great games, just to be expected. A lot of good teams making their way to this part of the country. Just got a piece of that to foul it off. It's 1-2. For Robin Heron, a 1.54 ERA. Makes her 12th appearance and her 8th start. And as you mentioned, Sean, gone the distance 5 times in her previous 7 starts. Holding opponents to just a 158 average and showing Mackenzie Brasher why.
Just did a great job during that at bat, moving the ball around, hitting her spots, keeping it in the strike zone, and then right there you can see she, gets it right around the plate, and, well, Brasher swings right through it.
Tough pitch to hit. That pitch running away, up and away from the lefty. Brings up Gabby Stagner. Aggressive hitter, and why not? When you're hitting 429, if you see something you like, just go ahead and go on after it. Close pitch. Heron trying to work the outside edge.
Not only that, you're talking about over 400, 6 bombs too. I mean, that's a connection.
Foul tip finds the catcher's mitt. Something that Heron does so well, just working ahead in the count, going right at hitters. Got her swinging. Heron struck out the first 2 here this afternoon.
We're seeing here in the first 2 hitters, they're being exactly what Becky Clark told us they like to see out of their hitters, which is they like to be aggressive, but the important thing is going to be control when we talk to her. And so we'll see how that develops as they get a feel for Heron on the mound.
Brings up Sasha Willems. Goes after the first pitch. This will find its way into the seats.
It's just when you're a pitcher and you can get ahead of the hitter early in the count, it's so important because it opens you up to doing so much more when you're out there in the circle.
Oh, 1. That pitch dropping late, but not enough. Evens the count. Ellis at first, Halverson at second, Rio at short. Anna Gamble down at third, Kennedy Miller, the freshman, behind the plate. Kramer, Johnson, and Hannah Cammons in the outfield left to right. Talking with head coach Courtney Deifel earlier today and asked her about Hannah Cammons, whose bat has been really hot. And so she gets the nod in right field this afternoon, but said they want to make sure they keep the perfect balance with Hannah, who will pitch in some very valuable situations as well. 17-4 start for the Razorbacks. And that versatility almost has become just common nature in this day and age in college softball. Coaches more and more working players out at different positions so that you can build a lineup in a lot of unique ways. Stepping out is Miller to complete the strikeout. And for Robin Heron, 1-2-3 in the first. We'll introduce you to the Razorback lineup when we come back.
Off the charts from what we've been told. Throws to all quadrants of the zone, but most importantly, a winner out there on the mound.
Yeah, for sure. You see Hannah Cammons in there. starting for the third time in 4 games as the right fielder and batting 2-hole right behind the table setter, Reagan Johnson. And so much home run power in Courtney Deifel's lineup, as always. You know your lineup might be pretty strong if you've got a player who's got over 50 career home runs hitting 7-hole with Kylie Halverson.
Is that good?
Yeah, you might say so. You might chalk that up as being a storybook career. Halverson's not done yet, though. First pitch strike from Olivia Lackey. Rain could become a factor as we move throughout the day here. Some showers expected later tonight. This is one of 2 Arkansas playing today. They're set to square off against St. Francis about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game. Diving stop, but that's just for good measure to keep it in the infield by Marley Sims. Reagan Johnson aboard, and you could see the middle infield playing in against the speedster. But if you have to leave your feet to get a ground ball off the bat at Johnson, you've got no chance.
And you could tell Johnson those first 2 pitches, what she was trying to do. She took a couple steps up in the box, and there you see the hit goes the other way, and she's already got 2 steps up the first baseline by the time the ball's on the ground.
Does it as good as anybody. 4 left-handed bats in this Razorback lineup. The top 2 and the bottom 2 in the order. Hannah Kamensend out of Valley, Nebraska. She and her twin sister Lauren, second-year Razorbacks. Hannah just as good in the circle as she is with her bat. Her first collegiate at bat was a home run and allowed no earned runs in her first appearance. Started off her career the right way in 2023. Slow roller to the right side, only play is to first. And Arkansas will look at that on the side of productivity as they get Johnson to second base.
It was a good play by Cordova there, too, because sometimes when that ball's coming in and you see the runner going to second base, you can be very tempted to try and turn 2 on a ground ball in the infield, and instead she just stayed with it, knowing the speed of Johnson, goes to first base, gets the out.
That's a great point. You could instantly go from 2 on and nobody out trying to be a hero if you don't get that throw there in time or misplay it. Hedgecock with an average just south of 300 and an OBP just under 400. Has already homered 3 times this year. Spots 3 through 7 in the Razorback lineup with at least 3 home runs apiece. But Hedgecock goes down swinging here. Lackey going right after her.
You can see she left the zone for that one, too, just trying to make something happen. Ends up striking out.
Bree Ellis with 2 outs.
Josh, if you do notice, too, the corners are kind of hugging the lines here, and I think part of that is Johnson's speed at second, but also, trying to prevent anything from doing some serious damage here that could score a run early.
Without a doubt. Yeah, the ability to be able to run on anything with 2 outs. You put 1 in the outfield, and most situations, Johnson's coming in to score. Taken for a strike there. 2-1. Wind is almost a crosswind from left foul pole to right. Lights are on a cloudy afternoon. This ball is well hit down the right field line. It's down. Johnson in to score. Ellis into second. 2-out RBI double for Bree Ellis.
That's a great piece of hitting to go the opposite field, get it deep. And, Ellis has 7 home runs this season, so, obviously she's going to get the barrel out there, and she does just that, but stays down on it and just sends it up the other way, gets it to a perfect spot on the outfield grass. Johnson scores easily, and Hogs are up 1-0.
5th double of the year. Team leading 23rd RBI for the Auburn transfer. Miller fouls this out of play. For South Alabama, they took on Northern Iowa earlier today. That game started just before noon local time. Those two are no strangers to each other. Northern Iowa jumped out early, never trailed, en route to a 7-2 win. This popped up. Cordova's got it, and the side retired, but Arkansas gets one in the first. 2-out RBI double from Bree Ellis, and it's 1-0 Hogs. Long to get them competing at the highest level.
It's really remarkable. We were talking, she did 3 years in NAIA and made the tournament all 3 years and took a year off to recruit for this program, and in 5 years they were in the regionals.
It's not supposed to happen that way for new programs, but it's a testament to the level of coach Becky Clark is, notching her 700th career win as a head coach last weekend in Tuscaloosa. It's Olivia Brandstetter leading things off. Robin Herron trying to find that same zone that she was in that first inning, struck out the side. The appeal to first, she did not go. Let's take another look here.
Boy, you
That's
really
close.
get up against the front edge of that plate there, huh?
About as close as it gets. Fouled over in the Jaguars bullpen.
And Josh, that win against Alabama, that was just the second time out of 17 tries that the program for South Alabama had beaten them.
And both times, it was the starting pitcher today, Mackey, in the circle. Olivia Lackey, the right-hander. As that popped is short, Rios got it. Brandstetter retired. Brings up the DP, Shelby Garrett. She homered in the game earlier today for the Jags. Redshirt sophomore from Frostproof, Florida. It's got to be one of the great town names, huh? But you've got two Floridians battling it out here with Herron in the circle and Garrett at the plate. Most of Florida's frostproof, from what I understand.
For the most part. That's I've only been there once, but yeah, I would agree with that.
Way out in front. That off speed from Herron.
That's just a nice pitch, placed really well, and then just kind of dove right underneath the bat.
And comes with the speed up. Good take, though, by Garrett in that situation.
You could see Herron when she walked away, when she had the ball, she was shaking her head yes, as in that's probably where she wanted that pitch to finish. Again, ahead in the count.
Got her to swing that time. I think Herron's smiling. She just heard over the PA here in the stadium that a free T-shirt was coming to one lucky fan. So
you see on the replay that, yeah, that one, almost the same spot.
great catch by the fan. And that free T-shirt that was just tossed out of the press box next to us. Hey, for Arkansas as a program, you're fielding it at 978. If you're going to be a home team fan in this park, you better be able to catch too.
Been very good in the field so far this year. And in the stands, I guess.
Gets court over to chase the rise there. Herron has retired the first 5 she's faced. Look out. A little bit up and in.
That'll get you thinking twice about trying to go after a pitch out and away.
See where she goes this time. Well, for Robin Herron last year, successful freshman year, a 2.30 ERA. Split her time between starter and reliever. Well, the crowd wanted that call for the left-hander.
Well, I'll tell you what, you could tell Cordova wanted to go after that pitch, but she did a great job of just standing there and letting it happen, not going after it, even with the 2 strikes.
She's a veteran. Jammed, popped up to Gamble, who's got it for out number 3. Only the second ball put in play, but Herron has pitched 2 sparkling innings so far, and it's Arkansas in tournaments in this program's history. And Deifel already responsible for half of those. Talk about veterans. Hannah Gamble, the Arkansas native who hails from Beebe. Going after this pitch. Gamble had herself a nice weekend. And now sitting with 5 homers on the year, trailing only Bree Ellis. Skied up into left. Bailey Welch in position, makes the catch. Well, that wind really helped knock that thing down.
Yeah, right now if you're a hitter, going to right field is, if you can do it, it's a great idea because you can see that flag out there in center just to the right of the video board. It's pointed right out toward that foul pole and right.
Yeah, if you're going to hit one out to left today, it better be a laser about 15 feet off the ground.
You got to hit a stinger.
Yep. Kindly Halverson can hit them in a variety of different ways. 55 career home runs for Kylie Halverson. Surpassed 200 hits earlier this year. She's top 10 among active D1 hitters in home runs and RBI as she fouls this one back. So if you're looking for notoriety in a pitching hitting matchup, this is one to watch because that right-hander, Olivia Lackey, has her name all over the active career leaders list amongst D1 pitchers. Another foul out of play. Top 20 in appearances, complete games, wins, saves even, ERA, 7th in strikeouts. Lackey hit 750 strikeouts earlier today in their first game against Northern Iowa. She came on in relief in that matchup. And 28 career shutouts for Lackey. Remarkable numbers. And she gets Halverson here. Career strikeout number 752.
You know, this entire matchup is really good because when you look at the way that things are set up, you know, Arkansas is hitting 307 at the plate so far this year. And when you look over on the pitching side for South Alabama, I mean, their ERA is 1.97, but opponents are hitting a $1.99. So it's like it's just good on good right now, and who's going to win the battles?
Hard hit ball through the right side for Italia Rio. Rio still kind of working her way back. This only her third start of the year.
It's another nice piece of hitting, just to, get that ball on the ground and get it through on the right side. Get your team a runner on base even with 2 outs.
Popped up, left side of the infield. Marley Sims has got it, and the side retired. Arkansas leaves one in the second. 1-0 lead. You start the year 19-0. Nope, you're not the #1 team in the nation. We'll talk about that later.
First pitch to Brooklyn Bachhaus is a swing and a miss to start her off in an 0-1 count. So 1-0 Arkansas lead so far in this one. Yeah, it's the first game for Arkansas in this Razorback Rumble this weekend. Got a whole slate of games going on. Arkansas is playing again after this tonight. You have the Razorbacks ranked 20th in the nation so far this season. They've been off to a hot start. South Alabama, this will be their 20th game of the year. They're 12-6, and they have a tie on their record so far this season. Josh, that tie, we got a chance to talk a little bit about it, and it was a tricky one against Arizona.
Yeah, you had that drop dead time for travel days, and 11 innings. You don't see very many these days, but that was indeed the case. But still, I mean, that really speaks to the level of excellence that Coach Clark and her team hold themselves to. Is her takeaway from that game is not that we escaped with a tie against a ranked team, but we had opportunities to win that game, and we should have won it. That's the mentality. It's never just we're going to play a tough schedule. We're going to win.
And you think about that being on the heels of that huge win over Alabama. It's one of those things where they know they can play at a high level. And this is upstairs. That's a walk. That's the first of the game for either team. And Bachhaus is aboard to bring up Bailey Welch.
Now we play the left fielder, number 14, Bailey Welch.
I feel like ties across bat and ball sports is not something you really see anymore either. So, just thinking about that, it was kind of a rarity in and of itself, wasn't it? There's a bunch shown. Infielders rushed in.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them play small ball here, Sean, because obviously you trust your pitcher, Olivia Lackey. She's only given up 1 run. There's a lot of situations that you could see her going the rest of the game without giving up 1. So you play small ball here.
Shown again, gets it down first base side. Ellis gets it, throws it up to first, and Halverson gets the out, but Bachhaus moves into second base, so the tying run is in scoring position as we get Marley Sims up to the plate for the first time today.
It's a really good job by Bailey Welch to execute that sac bunt, because your opponent obviously knows that's what you're trying to do. And a lot of times they're not going to give you the best pitch to try to do that against. So for Welch to be able to get that down and get the job done.
Now pitching number 5, Sydney Lee.
So now we've got a pinch hitter coming on, Sydney Lee, the junior. Catcher and an infielder will step in right-handed. Out of Gulfport, Mississippi. Starts off in a 1-0 count. That wind still whipping out to right field. It's a big game. This is kind of a tone setter, especially for the Razorbacks here going into the weekend.
I think this is a spot, Sean, that they kind of look at You know, Marley Sims was the scheduled batter. She's a left-handed hitter, and maybe a situation where they really feel like Lee, a right-handed hitter, would be able to do a little bit more with the stuff that the lefty Robin Herron is bringing.
She gets a piece of it there and fouls it back. It's a second strike, so a 1-2 count. Absolutely, you try and, you know, and how many coaches did we talk to here this week that talked about situations and matchups and different things like that of, you know, you get a little bit better of a look if you're a right-handed pitcher or a hitter against a lefty. She hits one up and into the netting on the right side. Stays alive in a 1-2 count. You got Bachhaus at second base, representing that tying run. Herron just missed a little high on that one. We've seen both of these pitchers in and around the zone the entire time. It is tough to be a hitter tonight out here.
Yeah, you know you're not going to get any pitcher just working away from you early in the count. They're both coming right at you.
Goes right at the hitter again, and Lee again gets a piece. And right now you're just driving pitch counts. I mean, you're seeing as many pitches as you can and trying to get your teammates some good looks. Two fouled up and into the netting behind home plate again. Well, they used to say when you'd foul the ball straight back, Josh, that you were right on it. You were just a little low. I think that some of the conventional wisdom has started to go away from that, and it's just if you miss it, you miss it. But 2-2, called strike three. Got her looking for the second out of the inning.
Well, Sydney Lee put up a pretty good battle, fouling off pitches with 2 strikes against her. Right there on the edge, and a good job by Kennedy Miller to frame that pitch.
Took the old paintbrush to the outside corner of the plate. There's a slap the other way. Fair ball down the left field line. Here comes the runner from second. The throw from left field. No, not in time. We are tied up as Bachhaus comes in to score. Brasher ends up at second, and it's a 1-1 ball game in the top of the third.
I love the aggression there, base running. You give the green light to Bachhaus because you don't know if you get too many more situations like that, so you better take it. And really good base running too. Sean, you notice Bachhaus, look at her. She is right at the edge of that dirt to the right side, and it forced Reagan Kramer down the right field line. She had to really come around to the right side with that throw. That is legendary head coach Mike Candrea 101 base running. If you are running from third base and that ball is hit down the right field line, you make sure that they have to throw that ball to the outside of you. Great job by Bachhaus.
Especially because the throw was a good one from left field. But overall, that's a great piece of hitting. It's a great piece of base running. And the slide, too, to be able to get down and get that foot in on the plate before the tag comes around. Because the ball beat her to the home plate area, but she was able to get that foot in. It was, I mean, that's a great way to tie up a ball game. A swing and a miss on a 1-1. So Herron 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning and keeping it a tie ball game. 1-2 count. Here comes. Tried to go to that outside corner again, and this time missed a little bit outside.
You go back, Sean, to the start of this inning, and Brooklyn Bachhaus working that full count and then earning that walk.
Fouled away.
It's the little things like that. You know, at the time, it's like, okay, there's a walk, but it's the situation that it came in. You're the lead off of the inning. You draw that walk, and you guarantee yourself a spot to get back to the top of your lineup where your best hitters are at. And Mackenzie Brasher doesn't let him down. And now you've got literally your best hitter on this team, Gabby Stagner, at the plate.
Stagner skies it up and out of play again. So it stays 2-2. It's difficult for me to say because it's one of my least favorite broadcasting phrases, but the deuces are wild up there. You have 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. It's the 3rd inning, though, so maybe not. Here comes another 2-2. Hit to center field. Johnson backing up. It's out of her reach and up against the wall. Brasher scores. Stagner pulls into second, and all of a sudden the Jags have the lead. An all-out effort in center field from Johnson, and with 2 outs, you have to. Just couldn't get there.
Well, that is such a pure swing from Gabby Stagner, who's just having a dynamite year, and you almost felt like it was going to be her moment at any time. Stagner, she came into this tournament only 2 strikeouts in 56 at-bats this year. She struck out twice in Game 1. She struck out her first time to the plate here in Game 2. I only bring that up out of respect to her because that's ridiculous that you only strike out twice in 56 at-bats. And so you knew after a little bit of a slow start to the day, you knew that was not going to last for an elite hitter like Stagner.
And the pitch to Wilms looked like it missed. It actually brought Miller up to her feet. Wanted to look back. Stagner out there at second base. Wilms 0 for 1 tonight with a strikeout so far. She takes it the other way into right field, but it's right at Cammon's end, and that will end the inning. But 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left on.
Spot for her to be in. She's in the leadoff in the lineup, of course, for a reason, but you're only the leadoff in the first inning, as the old saying goes, but anytime they get her as the leadoff in any other inning, consider that a bonus.
Well, she goes for a bunt to start things off with corner infielders pulled up. They're off and running here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning.
You expect your numbers offensively to go down when you hit conference play, and yet Reagan Johnson was the team's leading hitter in SEC play a year ago. That's not only a big commendment to be able to say that, but such a huge responsibility to say you're our anchor. You're the table setter in the lineup going into conference play, and she handled it with grace.
Absolutely, and really that, if you think about it, it's at any stage too, because we're finding out now with especially how good the teams are this weekend and across, we were talking about 12 out of the 13 SEC teams. These games are really important right now.
Yeah, you look back, on these types of games, especially if you're a South Alabama team, these are the types of resume builders that if you don't win your conference tournament, you can be holding at the end of the year.
A slap the other way into shallow left, a fair ball inside the line. Johnson aboard for the 2nd time today with a couple of singles. This one leads off the 3rd.
And one of the things about Reagan Johnson that makes her so dynamic is there's not a whole lot of pitches out there that she can't hit. She just finds something to do with everything.
The other important thing is that speed. It's very easy to turn a single into a double.
Indeed.
There's a ball grounded to second. Cordova flips, then goes to first. They roll 2. Bases are clear.
Didn't get there in time. That was an opportunity. If it was anybody else but Reagan Johnson, that's most likely a double play. But you saw Cordova kind of take that look at second. And she's like, I don't think so. I'll just make the sure play over to first.
Well, this ball gets popped up and out of play. That's what happens right there. You look down for 1 second, you look up, and
well, Johnson's a blur on the base paths. I mean, that ball wasn't softly hit either. That thing was moving pretty good on the ground. It got to the glove of Cordova pretty fast. That's in every other situation, that's a double play.
Well, we saw it earlier where, in a similar situation, that ball gets hit to second base, and Cordova went right to first with it. This time it looked like she was going to pitch it right to Sims, standing at the bag at second, and instead. Just
Well, you
ran it right back.
look at the career home run numbers. Courtney Deifel's team.
It's a 2-2 count here against Hedgecock. Mackey misses upstairs with that one. It's a full count now.
After being down 0-2, and the first pitch she had to lay off of was a tough one to lay off. A pitch that dropped very late. Looked like it was headed for the lower edge.
Well, she gets a pop-up right side of the infield. The first baseman, Stagner, in foul ground. Secures it for the second out of the inning.
Now batting the first baseman, number 77.
Brings up Bree Ellis, who's 1 for 1 today with an RBI. It's a 2-1 game. South Alabama out in front, but that tying run in scoring position with 2 outs. Certainly, if you're the Razorbacks, Ellis, someone that you want at the plate in this situation. Stands up there now, 23 RBIs on the season. She's also hit the ball out of the park. She's had 7 home runs so far this year. And now she's ahead in the count, 2-0. Looked like a pitch out there, and it gets away from the backstop, and Johnson moves up to third base now.
That's what makes, going back to the last at bat where Ryland Hedgecock was at the plate and popped out, that's what makes that out so valuable, is that Lackey was able to get her to pop up in that situation, and if it ends up being a productive out where you get the runner to third, then this is a tie ball game right now. Well, there was no chance that a big, powerful hitter like Bree Ellis was going to see anything to hit right there. With first base open. It's kind of the old unintentional but intentional walk.
Kennedy Miller swings and fouls that one back. I saw a clip not too long ago where Greg Maddox was doing an interview, and he talked about they asked him, who's the easiest hitter you've ever faced? And he said Barry Bonds. Do you know why he said Barry Bonds? He said it was very simple. If anybody was on base or it meant anything, you walked them. And right in that situation, you could see runner on third base. Ellis has been the one that's hurt people this year. She's already got 3 balls on her. Let her go. Try and pitch to Miller.
Yep. Then you give yourself the other option of getting that third out.
That ball well stung but fouled down the left field line. And more to your point, yeah, it's what it does is anything that's hit anywhere on the infield, you've now opened up an opportunity for an easy out at second base. In that, if it's hit to third, Brandstetter does not have to throw it across the diamond. She can go to second base and still secure an out and keep it a 1-run game. 1-2 skips in, and how about this? Ellis took off for second base, and she's in safely.
Oh, that was a great read by Ellis. Read that ball out of the hands. And really, that could have been designed, too. They might have been running on that pitch anyway because they know the throw's not going to come down to second. You're not going to chance that with Johnson on third.
Miller hanging in there with 2 strikes and a 2-2 count now after that foul ball right there. Pops it up, back into shallow right field, and the right fielder has it. Bachhaus comes up and makes the play to end the inning. So we stay 2-1 as we go into the 4th. The weather's been better than either one of us predicted a day ago. Brandstetter in, and first pitch to her skips in the dirt. Starts her off in a 1-0 count. Seen a lot of blankets and some hooded sweatshirts out in the crowd tonight, Josh.
It's only going to get worse as the night goes on, too.
The heavy jackets out in the dugout. This is outside. I had us at 59 degrees when we started. Obviously, the clouds will certainly let that chill roll through a little bit more. Now we're down to 55, so some of those jam shots are going to hurt a little bit more, too.
And with the possibility of rain, a little bit of a cold front moving in. So tomorrow we're looking pretty good. A lot of sunshine, but it's still going to be temperature-wise cooler than today.
Just inside on that one, and that's a 4-pitch walk to get things started. So Brandstetter heads up to first base, and Shelby Garrett, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout so far, ready to dig in.
Now, those are the ones that really hurt, is those free passes to start the inning. And Heron doesn't walk a lot of hitters. Better than a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio coming in.
Which is just crazy. I mean, to think about the accuracy that takes is, obviously one of the best pitchers that you're going to see out here. Really, you've got 2 of them in the circle here tonight. Garrett swings and takes it the other way, but it's a foul ball.
Garrett had a pretty good battle at the plate her first time up. She got behind in the count, which most hitters have tonight so far against Robin Heron. But she hung in battle.
This ball popped up back behind the plate on the right side, and Miller hangs on. So you get one away with a runner on first. That brings up Dallas Cordova.
Boy, that's really good from the freshman Kennedy Miller, just already knowing the landscape of this ballpark and knowing how close she was to the screen. Didn't let that affect her at all.
And those pop-ups are tricky because they're backspun. So they're really, sometimes they drift away. Sometimes they come back towards you, which catchers practice a ton of getting those balls where, you camp in one spot and you look up and all of a sudden they're 5 feet behind you. It's another pop-up, first base side. Ellis in and out of the glove. Well, we talked about it earlier. This Razorbacks team is one of the best in the SEC in the field. Right there, just looked like she had it all the way until she didn't. It's an 0-2 count. Fights this one off into deep center field. Johnson ranging back, and she makes the catch for out number 2. That ball was hit pretty well to center field, Josh.
It was, and that's one that'll make you nervous if you're Bree Ellis right after that pop-up, seeing how well that ball was hit.
There's definitely an emphasis put on the camaraderie of this team so far through the season on both sides, really, how they're meshing and gelling. And a lot of times when you talk to different players, they say, if something happens and one of us can't make a play, somebody else has to pick up the slack somewhere. And there you saw it with that ball to center field. It was a long run for Johnson out there.
And you love to see that too, especially the camaraderie being built between teammates. It's kind of the new norm, with the transfer portal. Your roster could see some significant turnover. And yet, for players like Bree Ellis fitting in from the get-go.
A swing and a miss. With 2 outs, there's 2 strikes on Brooklyn Bachhaus. And, I think it's also, they spend so much time together. There's a swing and a miss. And how about that? Herring gets out of the inning with a strikeout to start this bottom half of the 4th inning. And Josh, she's had a good stretch here.
Well, really kind of finding her swing at this point in the year, the last 8 games, you look what she did. Multi-home run weekend in the Woo Pig Classic a week ago. I don't know if this home crowd, because of how many games Hannah Gamble has played in an Arkansas uniform, it's hard to beat the excitement in this place for the home crowd whenever number 20 hits a home run.
This is their 22nd game of the season, came in hitting .226. 0 for 1 so far today. She flying out to left fielder last time up. And takes a pitch there. Proves the count for herself, 2-1. Well, you've got Lackey out there on the mound. She's given up just 1 run on the 4 hits. This is high and outside, so now a real hitter's count at 3-1.
You know, even though you're playing a high-octane Arkansas offense, and you talked about teammates picking each other up, I think this South Alabama team, anytime they've got a lead and they've got number 99 in the circle, they're feeling confident about themselves.
How about that? Gamble gets a piece of it and fouls it away. It's a full count now, 3-2. And after seeing what we've seen so far today, why not? Because even after that first inning where she gave up the run and the 2 hits, she's really settled down. She's spread out the other 2 hits through 2 innings, walked 1, but very good. Here's a pop fly, shallow right field. This is Bachhaus coming in on it and makes the catch. 1 away, brings up Kylie Halverson.
It's a good job by Bachhaus. That's a lot of ground to cover, and like you pointed out earlier, Sean, with what the wind is doing here tonight, you know, you hit a ball like that with a lot of backspin straight up in the air, it can do some crazy things on you.
Halverson swings and misses at the first pitch. Yeah, it's really funny what, I mean, you see it all the time with pitches, what the spin can do to a ball, but when it gets hit, that's an entirely different animal.
Talking with Coach Courtney Deifel earlier today about the parity in college softball, and you just don't know game to game. It increases every year. There's so much talent. There are no gimme games. And if you're trying to predict things on paper, you're probably not going to be very successful. I mean, you look at, just for example, this South Alabama team, their last 7 games, they've only lost 3. And they've played 3 ranked teams in that span. They've not lost any of those games to the ranked teams. It's all been to unranked teams. That about as good a testament as any to the parity in college softball. They've got a win over Alabama, win over South Carolina, and then an 11-inning tie with a drop dead time playing Arizona last Sunday.
It's hit high in the air, curling foul over on the left side, and catch made. That was Sims. The Bermuda Triangle out there. You have Welsh coming in from left and Brandstetter at third base going back, and the shortstop Sims is the one to make the catch. So there's 2 away. Riho up to the plate. And, you know, what you were talking about there, Josh, Coach Deifel also said South Alabama is going to force you to play clean in order to beat them, and that goes to your point. They're playing against some of the best teams in the country in all, you know, college softball right now, and they're playing them hard and they're getting wins.
Yep. Yeah, Coach Deifel, you know, we asked her about this pitcher, Olivia Lackey, and she said, I think she's one of the best in the country.
The ball scalded to the gap in left center, down and rolling. Riho pulls into second base. She's got herself a double here with 2 outs. That's her second 2-out base hit of the day. And there's a runner in scoring position for Arkansas with 2 outs in the 4th.
Well, I'd like to see the exit velo on that one from Italia Rio. I mean, she peppered that ball to the gap. She's really hitting it hard today. And, you know, we talked about her. She had off-season surgery, didn't play to start the season, and just kind of working her way back to game form. Well, it's not taking her long. Really showing out tonight.
It's her second double so far this season. Puts herself in a great spot here. Kramer up to the plate. She takes the first pitch for a strike. This just goes back to the situational hitting that we've talked about. The only problem is with 2 outs, the situation is the ball has to find green grass. Ball flared right side, but Cordova, the second baseman, is there, and that puts an end to the inning. Oh, it's still 2-1 South Alabama. We'll be back for the 5th inning after this.
You know, Kylie's been a lockdown first baseman, but she's a great athlete. She can move. She has great instincts. She understands the game so well. And so we're looking and saying, like, who makes the most sense to try to move to second? You know, because we need to keep those bats in the lineup.
Well, Kylie Halverson has had no issues whatsoever adjusting to the second base position after being pretty much a lifetime first baseman. Fielding it at 986 is Halverson so far this year. If you're a middle infielder spot and you're above 970, that's going to be just fine. And I don't think second base gets enough credit sometimes on just how difficult it is to play it. But Halverson has made that transition pretty seamless for her and her teammates. 2-1 ball game. South Alabama in front right now. 8-9-1 to bat here in the 5th, and Bailey Welch to lead things off. Sean, I always think back to the movie Moneyball when they're trying to talk Scott Hatterberg into transitioning to play first base, and he says, "It's not that hard." Tell him it's incredibly hard.
It really is, and really any positional move, just because, yes, you know you're going to catch the ball. Okay, let's start with that. You're going to field and catch the ball. Don't forget the glove is different from going to first base to second. It's a smaller surface area, so it's a little harder to catch the ball. And then positionally, you have to know where to be. At first base, there's there's certain points where, yes, you're going to go out to right field and be a cutoff. More often than not, you're going to be kind of an intermediate or a second cut. With second base, you're the primary cut on stuff on the right side, so there's a lot more running involved.
I think that was probably the first box to check, as you heard Coach Deifel talk about Halverson, incredibly intelligent, and so knowing that mentally she could handle the responsibilities of that position in terms of learning an entirely new spot. No issues there whatsoever. 3rd consecutive inning, though, for South Alabama, drawing a leadoff walk.
Now to play for shortstop, number 11.
And it's against a pitcher that doesn't do it very often.
Only the 3rd time this year for Robin Herron with 3 or more walks in an outing. This is her 12th appearance. First plate appearance of the day for Marley Sims at the bottom of the lineup. They pinch hit for her when it came her turn back in the 3rd inning.
We're starting to see at the plate that controlled aggression that they were talking about leading into this game. Where they want to be aggressive. And you most certainly do. You want to go, you want to swing the bat, you want to go after it. But if you see something, you need to be smart about that aggression. You can't just go, I don't know, maybe I'll date myself. You can't go all willy-nilly with it. You have to really, you have to rein it in and do it when it's appropriate.
Right. Good bunt laid down. Good job by Gamble to just let it go. Yeah, Coach Clark said we're ready to hit every pitch, our offensive philosophy, ready to hit every pitch, but she said aggressively patient. Is that a thing? Hey, you've won 700 games as a head coach. If you want it to be a thing, it's a thing. Who's to question it?
Well, certainly not us.
No. Well, their team is bought in as well.
I definitely think that may be the trickiest part of being a coach. You can say all the things you want, but if they click and people can buy in and the people on your team can start to activate those things, That's huge, and they're seeing the success from that now. I mean, how many times have you heard, or just think about, I know for me, you know, learning something new or learning how to do something, someone may have to tell you how to do it 16 different ways before you learn how to do it the right way.
Before one of them clicks.
Yeah.
Close pitch. Sims lays off it though, and the count is full.
This is a huge spot with one on and nobody out.
Little soft liner dropped into right center. Boy, that is a very, very gutsy at bat for Marley Sims. Being behind in the count, battling off the pitches that were in and around the zone, and finally got something to hit.
Yeah, and just taking that one to right field, you know, not trying to bite off too much, where Heron is really trying to battle and get through this inning, and especially with that third straight leadoff walk like you were talking about. You know, it's a really tricky spot now.
2 on to start the inning. Oh, it's funny how sometimes it's just those close calls that don't go your way. Heron had the last batter, Marley Sims, down in the count. Sims worked the count full, and then a little flare into right center field, and that marks the end for Robin Heron. Finishes with 6 strikeouts. That hit she just gave up, only her 3rd hit of the game. The unfortunate part for Heron is the 2 previous hits came back to back with 2 outs in the 3rd. And right now that's the difference in the ball game.
We were talking about spin. That ball would have been a lot of trouble had it been fair. That's at least on the baseball side, they call that one the old Baltimore chop. They used to say they used to dry the ground out in front of home plate in Baltimore so that the hitters could just bury the ball in it and it'd take a 40-foot hop off of it.
Got her swinging. That's a good way to start the outing for Linestock. That was a must-have really for Arkansas. You couldn't afford to let those runners advance in getting that first out.
Still tightrope walk. You got the one out, but you know, you have some options now. Obviously, runners at first and second. The double play is available.
Bouncer to short to second for 1. Relay to first, not in time. Stagner able to leg it out and prevent the inning-ending double play.
Well, they tried to turn the 2 there, but it's a good job by Stagner to get up the baseline and beat that relay throw out. Now you've got runners at the corners, Josh.
Well, it's that 2-out approach that's been the difference so far. Sasha Willems now to the plate with 2 outs. Wouldn't be surprised to see Gabby Stagner take off here. Just to see if they could maybe go for that delayed double steal. Middle infield really ready for it though. Not so much worried about the runner at first, but if the runner from 3rd takes off.
You can see the communication out there as Linestock got back to the mound, flashing that 2-out symbol to let everybody know. You just need 1.
Got her swinging. Linestock out of the bullpen, gets a pair of strikeouts, sandwiching a ground ball. 94. Gasso, the son of the legend Patty Gasso, head coach for OU, and where Courtney Deifel spent some time in her early days as an assistant under Patty Gasso at OU. still considers her one of her greatest mentors and talks to regularly. As Johnson looking to catch the infield off guard, but Brandstetter not having any of it. Really good play by Olivia Brandstetter.
It's the first time that they've sat her down so far today. Came into that at bat with 2 hits, and here you see just tried to drop that bunt straight out in front of home plate. Brandstetter, nice job to cut it off and get it over to first.
Notice the angle she took on that ball too. Like a lot of times you'll see the third baseman charging in, and that's off the glove and goes down into the corner. That's going to allow Cammons in to try to take third. Here comes the throw. Oh, she's in safely. Well, Courtney Deifel was screaming, giving her the green light before she ever even got to second, saying, come on, you can make it, and she did.
That is such a huge hit right now in a 1-run game. And a lucky bounce, too. You know, you get that dive, it goes off the glove, and then rolls into foul ground away from the right fielder. Backhaus got to it. But that ends up as a triple.
First pitch, what a diving stop made by Odalis Cordova. Are you kidding me?
That is ridiculous. Goes right back to her, opposite side, goes to her right, makes that all-out diving grab, and that ball was hammered at her. She had to reach back behind her to get to that ball.
That's a #1 play on any list. What an effort by the super senior Odalis Cordova. I mean, literally keeping her team in the lead. Ellis taking a big cut at that pitch.
We'll talk about a challenge. Right out over the heart of the plate. Come get it.
Lifted up down the left field line. Shortstop Sims takes control with the call and the catch. Arkansas threatened, but some good defense being put for South Alabama as we move into the 6th. Olivia Brandstetter will lead things off. She led off the 4th inning with a walk, was retired on a pop-up when leading off the 2nd. Back to work for Morgan Linestock. She took over for the starter Robin Herron. Razorback lefty struck out 6, walked 3 in 4 innings of work. 3 hits, 2 earned runs. This Jags team, very tough at the plate. You know, Herron goes 4 innings, but they forced her to throw 83 pitches. They battled, even though Herron worked ahead in the count more times than not. Good first step by Rio. Able to easily make that play.
Now back to the designated player, number 24.
Got the ball being hit hard all over right now, and that's just one of those floating liners, and Rio to her left makes a nice little lunging grab on that one.
Brings up the DP, Shelby Garrett, going after the first pitch. This game is much different than the rest of the games that have already been played today. This is game 4 of 5 on day 1 of this Razorback Rumble. Nebraska 13-3 win over Northern Iowa to start the day. Then Northern Iowa rebounding with a 7-2 win over the South Alabama team. Those two teams facing off for the 3rd time in less than 9 days. Northern Iowa's now won 2 of those 3 against the South Alabama squad. And then the game right before this one, it was a wild one. St. Francis just kept coming back on Nebraska, even took a lead into the bottom of the 7th before Nebraska won it in walk-off fashion. 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning after St. Francis played at 4 in the top of that frame to take the lead. Got her swinging. Line stock with her third strikeout.
She's pumped up, too. When she walked around after she got the ball back, gave a little fist pump and letting everybody know, it's just a one-run game. There you could see swung right over the top of it, and then immediately line stock just jacked up.
Cordova fouled that off her foot. On a chilly night like this, it's going to take a little bit of extra time for the sting to work its way out than it would if it was 75 out here.
I was going to say that would hurt regardless of temperature, but
doesn't phase Cordova though. Right after the highlight reel defensive play in the bottom of the fifth, she turns that into some good offense here. A 2-out single in the sixth. And that's the first base runner against Morgan Linestock.
it's another hard hit ball as we've seen here the last couple of innings. And you get that pull side and just yank it out in the left field.
Scheduled batter is Brooklyn Bachhaus. Instead, it will be Sophia Mendoza. Only 2 plate appearances this year. Mendoza 0 for 1 with a walk. Sophomore from Lehigh Acres, Florida, out of Riverdale High School. Good looking pitch there from Linestock. A drop ball. The Southern Miss transfer approaching 500 career strikeouts. She's now just 5 away. In there for strike 2.
That was a buckler, too. Did you see Mendoza think about swinging and then immediately put the brakes on it? Kind of got those, I guess they call them the on skates there. You kinda It's a good take, though, because you're in a hitter, again, in a hitter's count at that point, so it doesn't hurt you to take that strike.
Timeout granted here by the home plate umpire. Two outs, payoff pitch. Fouled off her foot.
There's a lot of that going around right now.
Second one we've seen in this inning.
None of it looks pleasant.
No. If it was going to happen to anybody, though, I think batting with no batting gloves is a signal of toughness, and that's been the case for the 2 that have been hit with their own foul ball in this inning. We're going to get a review here. First video review of this ball game. Home plate umpire Tatum Stolting and Kevin Wallace making their way over to check it out. I love seeing the video review now into play in college baseball and softball. And the numbers from last year, Sean, really impressive, because you're talking about in so many situations like bang plays at first, more than 3/4 of the time, more than 75% of the time, calls were not overturned. That is a pretty good rate, I think. If you would have said it was 50%, I'd have said that probably seems normal, but to be over 75% in calls not overturned. That's a pretty good rate by SEC umpires.
Yeah, that's extremely impressive, especially when you think about, if you're a good hitter, you're getting a hit maybe 3 to 3 1/4 times every time you're at the plate. And the game moves so fast, and especially, when you're watching a softball game, these players move so quick and the ball moves around so fast. And these umpires have multiple things to watch at once that, it can really be, a situation where, it would be understandable to miss less than that, and they're not doing it, and that's incredible.
This is another tough one to call. From what we understand, they're checking to see if the runner from first, Odalis Cordova, left early. Runner did leave early. Cordova leaving first. That's a great challenge by Arkansas. Next we go. Razorbacks have had base runners every inning, but since the first, that timely hit has eluded them. There's how it officially reads in the NCAA rulebook. As Miller fouls one back. Kennedy Miller 0 for 2 today. Miller homered twice against FAU last weekend, and then one against South Dakota State. 7 RBI in her last 3 games. A drift on a play. Miller had 1 RBI in her first 7 games this year and now has 15 in the last 11. Takes that pitch inside. Good take there. Count is full now.
Miller's got a big grin on her face. That was a tiptoe take where she was leaning out, really thinking about that one.
Hard hit ball to short. Sims has got it cleanly though. Fires over to first. 1 down.
Now batting, the third baseman, number 20, Hannah Gamble.
We're seeing Lackey really work to take control of this game. She's, she said the 2 strikeouts I have it, but outside of that, some fly balls, some ground balls. She's obviously giving up some hits here. Razorbacks are out hitting the Jags right now 6-4, but minimizing the damage has been the name of the game here today. And Lackey's done a really good job of that out there on the rubber.
First meeting all time between these 2 programs. South Alabama team that was 39-14 a year ago went 20-4 in the Sun Belt. That's an attention-getting foul ball. Way up into the night sky and out of play down into the left field corner. Another hard hit ball to short. And again, Sims up to the challenge.
That was a tough ball to field, too, for Sims. They kind of took a short hop right in front of her. Very easily could have been a handcuff situation. Instead, she was able to just get that glove back up in just enough time to be able to glove it and get it out.
First two retired here in the sixth. Brings up Kylie Halverson, who can change a game with one swing of the bat. Has already homered 5 times this year. Second team All-SEC from a year ago. First team All-Region. In her first year as a Razorback after a great career at South Dakota State. Reigning Sun Belt Conference Pitcher of the Year. Having herself a game. You know, pitching is so much mental as much as it is the physical talents, being able to have that toughness. As the raindrops start to fall here in Fayetteville.
This is what we were fearing.
Still another game on the schedule for tonight as well. Don't forget, Arkansas supposed to take on St. Francis approximately 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game. Softball America had Olivia Lackey in their pitcher rankings earlier this week as the 10th best pitcher in the nation. Halverson just got a piece to stay alive.
And even Coach Deifel was talking about that on the call earlier in the day where, you know, she said Lackey is one of the best pitchers in the entire country. So they knew what they were getting into tonight.
Now it gets interesting. Payoff pitch. Got her swinging. Third strikeout of the night for Olivia. Defeated against ranked foes, including that monumental win over Alabama last weekend for head coach Becky Clark's 700th career victory as a head coach. And to add to that, they're a perfect 3-0 in true road games this year. Here's Brooklyn Bachhaus to lead off the 7th as the Jaguars look for some insurance. Morgan Linestock done a terrific job in relief of the starter Robin Heron. Three strikeouts, only one has reached against the right-hander.
Such an important inning for these two teams. If you're South Alabama, you know, one-run lead is you feel like it's not enough going into the bottom of the 7th, whereas obviously Arkansas wants to keep it that way and give themselves a chance.
Smoked foul.
This has been a good game all the way up to, I mean, even including this point so far to get that one-run game. There's been 10 combined hits so far, but still only just the 3 runs between the two teams. We've seen some great defensive plays. We've seen some timely hitting.
There's the drop ball from Linestock, right in for a strike.
And that's a called strike 3-2, which makes it a little bit sweeter. There you see that one just came right back, just above the knees to the middle of the plate. And that thing started pretty far off the plate.
Close pitch there, just dipped below the lower inside corner. Linestock for the Razorbacks this season. 11 appearances. This her 7th time out of the bullpen and a team best 1.49 ERA. Has been comfortable in that relief role. All but one of her relief outings have gone at least 2 innings. She's at 2 1/3 so far here tonight.
What's right here? I just get like so close to it.
Little dribbler. This is trouble. Still looking at it, hoping it would spin foul, but it just never did. That was the smart decision by Linestock. She knew she had no chance to throw out Bailey Welch.
When you're right on that line like that, Josh, sometimes you get so wrapped up in the adrenaline of trying to make the play that you don't see a play like that through. And like you said, there's a lot worse that could have happened from picking up that ball and throwing it to first base than letting it just stop there, and it ends up just being a single.
First pitch strike taken by Marley Sims. Arkansas struck first in this game in the first. Reagan Johnson with an infield single. Came in on a 2-out double from Bree Ellis. That lead stuck until we got to the third. Leadoff walk by Brooklyn Bachhaus for South Alabama. And then 2-out hits from Mackenzie Brasher and Gabby Stagner. And we've held there at 2-1 Jags since. Diving effort by Ellis. And there was nobody there at first base. Well, you can't fault effort in that play.
No, and that was placed in a really tough spot if you're on the infield. With the first, with Ellis playing up in front of the bag, she takes a dive to her right after a step and a half. And, Halverson's in a good spot to be able to pick that up. But like you said, nobody at the bag, and you're not going to win that foot race either.
It's hard to take instincts out of it sometimes. If you look back at that play on replay, then I'm sure Ellis would say, yeah, I'll go back to first. But how can you do that in the moment? If you see a ball you got a chance to catch, you like the aggression there to go after it.
And even then, you're looking at it, and Halverson is headed toward first base anyway to back up that play. So you're hoping if you can get to the ball that Halverson can get to the bag in that situation with the momentum already taking her there.
Couple of unconventional hits here with 1 out in the 7th. As the Jaguars are looking for some insurance, this is the spot in their lineup to try to do that in. Back to the top of their order, Mackenzie Brasher is 1 of 3 today. She was the first batter to face Linestock when she came on in the 5th inning. The right-hander struck her out. Brasher with a couple of stolen bases in the first game today for South Alabama. Perfect 13 of 13 on the year. And she continues to move closer to the program's record. Just 3 away from tying it. Got her swinging.
It's a huge bounce back right there. And once again, you could see Stagner coming up, but Brasher with that wide open stance and that pitch running away from her, just no chance to get to it.
First pitch. This is well hit to straightaway center. Right at the wall. Johnson makes the catch. Stagner that close to going yard for the 7th time this year. Double with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. It was back-to-back hits with 2 outs. Put the Jaguars in front. So here we go to the bottom of the 7th. And Natalia Rio to lead off for the Razorbacks. Josh Haley, Sean Mernon with you from Bogle Park. And given what's happened so far tonight, if you're Arkansas, I don't think there's anybody you'd rather have at the plate than Rio to lead off this inning.
No, she's 2 for 2 so far.
Hitting the ball hard as well.
But the double the last time she came up. She and Reagan Johnson are the only multi-hit efforts so far for the Razorbacks tonight.
This is hit well down the left field line, but running over, Welch makes the catch.
And even then, you hit a fly ball. The trajectory is that of a fly ball, but still hit pretty well to go fairly deep out there in left field. And just another good play by this Jags defense for Welch to get out there.
Here's Nia Carter to bat for the Razorbacks. Pinch hitting for Reagan Kramer. One of only 5 Division I players active with over 250 career hits. Slaps this up foul, and a basket catch made. Brandstetter over the shoulder, kind of pinned it against the belt.
I was going to say, I don't know if that actually went into the glove. I think she might have football caught that from the angle we had. You could see her going back on it, and got in on the heel of the glove, and then she got it in there with her offhand and managed to hang on to it.
Razorbacks are down to their final out. And you're back to the top of your order. Reagan Johnson, who's 2 for 3 today. Lackey wasting no time and gets the upper outside corner. Arkansas down to their final strike.
Now Lackey's trying to get her 8th straight hitter to close out this game.
He's looking for a 3rd straight shutout performance against an SEC team. Called strike 3 on the outer edge. And Olivia Lackey has done it again. Less than a week after a shutout win at Alabama, she comes in here to Bogle Park and pitches a gem. Third-ranked win of the season for this Jaguars team.
It's a really outstanding